This is From Hero to Zero, a show about the misconception of the demise of the music industry. We talk to heroes to make sense of the alleged zero, the music business. Hi Taylor, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Thank you for taking time, sitting down with us and talking about you and The Pretty Reckless.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Taylor, you started The Pretty Reckless in 2009, New York City-based band. Basically in a time when the music business, when it became apparent that the music business was hit hard by technological advancements. What were the driving or motivational forces behind looking beyond that and actually start a band in a time with lots of uncertainty?
Well, for me, music is just, I say a passion, but it's more than a passion, it's my identity. So, I mean, I've been writing songs and singing and playing guitar since my birth. I don't know, I've been humming melodies since I was a child. So it was something I always did, and I was in different bands. And when I met this band, when I met Ben first, when we started writing together, there's a magic click there, and it wasn't really a choice. It was kind of out of desperation and the need to play music.
Did you ever think that there might be struggles ahead, or did you just think, this is what I want to do, I need to do this?
It's basically a need. It's like music to me is like it's air, it's water. I'm desperate for it. I feel the need to create, and if I go too long without doing it, I start to lose my center. So it was never really a choice. It was more just out of desperation of needing to do that. And I didn't really, there was no kind of forethought, like it was just go, blindly, just write, create, put it out. If people like it, cool. If they don't, I like it, so I'm happy. Sure.
How do you perceive the state of the music business today as compared to when you started? Did it become better?
I don't know if it's better, but it's changing rapidly still. So I don't think the music business itself has actually wrapped their own heads around what's happening with how quickly technology is progressing, and the way that now it's all about streaming, and it's not about record sales, and I think that currently it's kind of, music is cyclical, and I think that like right now it's like being in the 50s again, where it's all single based, and the album is kind of slowly disappearing, which is sad to me because I love the album, because to me it's not about one song. Like you can't capture everything in one song. It's about the whole piece of work, the whole body of work, and that's not really how music is viewed nowadays. But I think it's going through a transitory state right now, kind of like the world. But it always comes back, because music is, like I said, it's like water, it's like food, it's a necessity, and it's a universal language that I think everyone needs and can understand. So there was, like I said, there's the 50s singles, and then the 60s Renaissance hit, and all these fantastic musicians exploded into the scene, and 60s, 70s, and then the 80s, rock and roll kind of turned a little cheesy and more into the pop genre again, and then the 90s Renaissance happened. And so I think we're waiting for the next 90s right now.
I like that. You just mentioned technology has moved so fast. In an interview with Life in Limbo, you gave a very beautiful quote, if I may quote you.
Oh yeah, please.
We tried to make an honest, organic record. You were asked about your new record, who you're selling for. We tried to make an honest, organic record that kind of captured the human element of music that I think is lacking in a lot of records today, because now everything can be digitally manipulated and fixed in computers. So you basically went on to record an organic record without manipulating anything, is that correct?
Yeah, and this was the first record that we, on our previous records, it was just the four of us, and so we all play multiple instruments, so we'd, overdub another guitar, Ben, our guitar player, would play 2 different guitars on the record, and this time we actually brought in outside musicians to really capture that organic moment and see where the song would take you. And if it didn't work that day, we just left the studio and would come back, come back the next day and try again. There was no forcing it, and I think that was something that we really tried to aim for, and this record I think was the first stepping stone to what the next record will be of that process. Like a good example of how that changed the record would be, there's the song on the record called "The Devil's Back," and originally that was going to be a 2-minute, quick little ditty, and it ended up, we were all playing in the room together, and it just felt so good that someone went like this, and we just kept playing, and now it's one of the longest songs on the record. So I think that really added an element of just organic musicians playing together, and I think that not everything has to be perfect. I think kind of the perfection can be in the imperfections.
Beautiful. You just gave me a perfect cue for my next question, because I wanted to ask, don't you think that a certain level of digital perfection is expected from music consumers nowadays? Because we're used to hearing these auto-tuned voices, the beats all tight. What do you what's your opinion on that?
I think that I'm sure it is kind of expected, but to me, doesn't it all just sound the fucking same? Like, aren't you bored yet? Like the lined up guitar solos, like everyone's voice sounds the same because it's put through that machine. Like there's no human element to it. So how can you connect? The reason that music is so a lifeline of humanity is that you can hear the person behind the note. You can hear the pain. You can hear the struggle. You can hear the striving to accomplish something greater than yourself. And with everything being so digitally manipulated now, I feel like you lose so much of that, and I think that's sad. I mean, there's a reason that you actually had to be great in those renaissances that I'm talking about. Those bands were great, and they didn't have any tools at their disposal to change them. They actually had to be that good, and I think that's our goal, is to just constantly better ourselves and be as good as humanly possible.
Perfect. In the same context, basically, playing live. Nowadays, many bands say they don't get enough revenue from sales anymore as they used to back in the night before the internet revolution, basically. So they have to tour more, they have to play more. That's why, again, more expectancy on the side of perfection. And so they use backing tracks.
Yeah.
First question: do you use backing tracks? No. Why not?
Also, because it's boring. We don't, and we're just not that band. I mean, we can't even play to a click track, which is, it's so, like, what do you want to hear? Tick, 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 tick in your head all night? I mean, it's awful. So you can't feel the music that way. So our drummer has a roll-in pad, so if you hear any sort of sound effect or noise or something, but he's playing that. It's, so it's programmed into a thing, but if he doesn't play it like a drummer, it's just not gonna happen. It's not coming out of a computer.
In the same interview I mentioned before, Live in Limbo, you touched upon longevity in music. How does a young band like the pretty much young band like the Pretty Reckless achieve that?
Just by doing it, just by constantly, keep on keeping on. It's, music, it's a wave. It goes like this, and it goes up, and it goes down, and it goes up, and it goes down, and you have to roll with the punches and know that that's just how it works. And when you're in a lull that's down, realize that it'll eventually go up again, and it's a constant fight, and it's a constant struggle, but you have to keep pushing yourself, and you do get in those lulls where you feel like it's not going to get better, but that's the amazing thing about music, is that it saves. So, it saves lives. It saved my life over and over, and continues to do so. So and as a musician, like, I don't understand the concept of quitting music or something. It's so ingrained in you as your identity that you would, at least for me, I would lose myself. I don't know who I'd be without it. So longevity is the goal, because without it, you'd die.
Beautifully said, beautifully said. Last question. in a world where everything seems to become more white or more black or more yin and more yang, more zero, more one, fans come to a concert to see one band, one artist. What characteristics would you wish that all your fans had? One main characteristic.
One main characteristic. Kindness. I think that's it's necessary. Just be a kind human being, and don't hurt other people.
Beautiful. Well, Taylor, thank you so much.
Thank
It's very
you.
interesting. All the best with the new record.
Thank you so much.